Hi guys, I thought I'd make a video today because I passed my practical test a couple of weeks ago, first time, and I only got 1 minor, so like with the theory test video, that helped a lot of people out, so hopefully I'm going to make this and it's going to help a few more people out. So just a couple of quick things before I start talking about the test and what I did on the day. I started taking driving lessons in February, and obviously I had my test in December, so I took lessons for about 10 months, and altogether I had about 50 hours worth of lessons. My instructor also encouraged me to do a mock test, which I did around 36 hours, so I did it in about October time, and it went really bad. And my instructor gave me a choice. She asked me if I wanted to carry on and go to test on the 16th of October, or do I want to move my test. And after thinking about everything, I decided to move my test because I thought that if I did go to test on the 16th of October, I most likely would have failed anyway, and it would have just cost me more money in the long term. I'd rather take more lessons and take more time and learn it properly. So yeah, finally I did decide to move my test, so I moved it to December. I think it's a lot better to take your time and just to make sure that you're actually doing it properly, and it will be a lot more beneficial to you. So anyway, moving on to the actual test day. So it was about 2 weeks ago that I did my test. So my test was at 2:42 in the afternoon, and I honestly think that if you're meant to pass your driving test, then it doesn't really matter what time of the day you do it, because if you're at that standard, you should be able to obviously drive at any time of the day. So I think it's not really too relevant, but if you can help it, try not to book a really busy time, because obviously there's more chance that you will make a mistake or you'll forget your observations or something like that. So yeah, my instructor, she picked me up about an hour before my test, and then in the lesson that I did before my test, we just went around sort of general test routes. We also did all 3 manoeuvres, so we did the turn in the road, the left reverse and the parallel park. When we actually got to the test centre itself, I practised my bay park in the test centre car park, and I was kind of worried about that manoeuvre because since I started taking lessons in February, I literally only did the bay park about 2 or 3 times, so I wasn't that confident on it. I could do it, it was fine. You know how before you're tested on something, you want to make sure that you practice it quite a few times. But yeah, we did all of them and it was all fine. So that was that. So then me and my instructor, we both went into the test centre. She signed us both in and we were waiting in the waiting room for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then my examiner came out, and he was a really lovely sort of middle-aged, older type of man. He was very softly spoken, really nice sort of guy. He just got me to sign a few documents just to say that the car was insured and stuff like that. And then we went outside and he got me to read a license plate from 20 metres away. And then we actually got to the car. He asked 2 show me tell me questions. The first one was open the bonnet, show me where the engine oil is and how you would identify it's at the correct level. And then the second one was, when we actually got into the car, was tell me how you turn the headlights on and tell me how you would check that they're working whilst you're in the car. So I just answered those 2 questions. The show me tell me questions, there are 19 of them, and the examiner will ask you 2 of them. You can't fail if you get either of them wrong. The most that you can get is just 1 minor if you get 1 or both of them wrong. So also you're not going to fail if you get them wrong. But having said that, they are quite simple questions, and if you don't get them right, it doesn't really give the best impression to the examiner, and it doesn't really make the examiner feel confident about you. So I would say definitely at least try and learn them, because it's kind of like the least you can do, to be honest. There's a great video that goes through all the show me tell me questions. I literally just watched it about 3 or 4 times a few days before my test and I was absolutely fine. I'll link it in the description below. I really recommend you checking that out. So then the first thing he told me to do was to turn on the engine and to get out of the bay that I was in and to reverse park back into the bay. So basically the bay park, the manoeuvre that I've only done about 2 or 3 times and that I literally just practiced 10 minutes ago, he told me to do that. So in a way I was kind of happy because I literally did do it about 10 minutes ago. So I did exactly the same thing that I did with my instructor, and I reversed into that bay absolutely perfectly, and I was so happy about that. I was so glad to get that manoeuvre and to get it right at the beginning of my test as well, so I didn't have to worry about it later on. So that was great. And then the examiner just told me to, you know, get out of the car park at the roundabout, go straight ahead, and then at the end of the road turn right. So I did all that, and then we reached the Cardington Cross spiral roundabout, and my instructor, she's literally taken me on this roundabout every single lesson, but I still can't get it right. It's so difficult because I just don't understand the layout of it. The road markings are really faint, and I just get so confused every time. And basically what he told me to do was to follow signs to Cambridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture on so you guys can understand this a little bit better. So the thing that really confuses me about this roundabout is, to me, the Cambridge exit looks like it's straight ahead, and if on a standard roundabout you were to go straight ahead, you would be in the left lane. But that's not the case with this roundabout. So basically he told me to follow signs to Cambridge, and I was in the left lane and I should have been in the right lane. So obviously I noticed my mistake when I got to the give way sign on the roundabout, and I couldn't do anything about it, so I just carried on in the left lane. I just had to carry on, and then instead of going off at Cambridge, I had to go off at Bedford. So instead of taking the 4th exit, basically, I took the 3rd exit. By me being in that left lane, the only place I could have gone was the 1st, 2nd or 3rd exit, so I chose to go to the 3rd exit. I couldn't have possibly carried on and gone to the 4th exit, so I went on the 3rd, and I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything unsafe. I still checked my mirrors and signalled and went off on the 3rd exit. And actually an examiner can't give you a minor or any kind of fault by doing that. So yeah, whilst I was doing that, I just said to him that I'm really sorry. I know that I'm in the wrong lane, so I'm just going to have to carry on going. And he just said, just do whatever you think is safe and the right thing to do. So I just did that. And then I basically just had to turn around at some point and come all the way back around, and then I had to take the Cambridge exit again. I actually made the same mistake again on another roundabout. So he told me to turn right again and I went left. But again, it was okay because I was in the left lane and I went left. If roundabouts really confuse you so much and you just really panic, just stay in the left lane and go left. Because as long as you do that safely, you can't get marked down for that, and you can't get marked down for going the wrong way. Yeah, it's a little bit inconvenient because you have to turn around on like the next roundabout and come back around, and I suppose it's kind of cheating, but I feel like it's better to just stay in the left lane and go left if you're panicking than to go in the right lane and just mess the whole roundabout up. So yeah, on my driving test I went the wrong way on 2 occasions, and to be honest, even after both those times that I went wrong, I did apologise and I said that I'm sorry, I know I keep going around the wrong way. But he couldn't actually give me any faults on that because I didn't do anything unsafe or anything that would put anybody else in danger or anything like that. And that's the main thing that they're looking for. The test isn't about how well you can follow directions. You can buy a sat nav and you can do that. The test is about how safe you are as a driver and how considerate you are to other drivers and pedestrians and cyclists and everything like that. It's not about how well you can follow directions. So if you do go the wrong way on a test, it's absolutely fine as long as you did it safely and in a controlled way. Also, another thing that I think is really important, I try to make conversation with my examiner and I try to sort of make small talk here and there, and I think that that's really important because it kind of puts them at ease. Imagine if you swapped places with the examiner and then you've got the student next to you who you're examining and they're so nervous and they're literally shaking and they're just like, they look so like they don't know what to do. Imagine if you had somebody like that next to you. You would feel a bit panicky yourself and you wouldn't trust that person and you'd constantly be staring at them, like looking for their mistakes and just getting ready to write down faults on the paper. Don't be that kind of student. I know it's difficult and I know it's like a really, really stressful, you know, nerve-wracking thing, but if you can help it, even if you do feel nervous, just try and seem confident on the outside, and they won't feel the need to constantly stare at you and you know, try and pick the faults in you. And I know it's really difficult for some people more than others, but if you struggle with sort of nerves and stuff, just imagine that you're the examiner. You wouldn't want to see yourself like that. Imagine how you'd want to see yourself. You'd want to see yourself as somebody who comes across as confident and who knows what they're doing. Then at the end of my test, we obviously got back to the test centre. He told me just to park in one of the bays, and I parked the most ridiculous way. I parked like slap bang in between 2 bays, and then the examiner just turns to me and he says that I'm really happy to tell you that you passed your test, you only got 1 minor. My minor was that on one occasion I didn't look in my left door mirror when I was changing direction going left. So yeah guys, hopefully that's you when you're taking your driving test in a few days time or whenever you're taking it. I know it's a really nerve-wracking thing, but it is achievable. I always used to say to myself when I used to have really bad lessons with my instructor, I always used to think to myself, how on earth am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to pass it? And I used to just think that I would never be able to do it. And I just looked around and I thought, most people in this world can drive, and I'm definitely one of them, and there's nothing about it that I can't do. You've done it all before with your instructor, you just have to do it once more just to prove yourself, and then hopefully that's the end of it. But yeah guys, I really hope that helped. If you have any more questions about, you know, what I did on the day or anything else that you're not sure of, make sure you leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and best of luck.